Faucets run dry in Collier County.
Barely coming out.
Tonight, hundreds of households and even schools are under a boil water advisory. At 7, we take you to the source of the shortage.
And explain when you'll get your water back.
When I heard that, I was like, wow, that is pretty big.
Get more on why the county approved a bump to your bill to avoid this very problem.
Your News at 7 starts in just seconds.
Live from ABC 7, this is News at 7.
Barely coming out, but, you know, there was still water.
Tonight, thousands of people in northern Collier County are still without drinking water after supply was cut off this weekend. Boil water notices are still in place tonight, and it's your big story tonight at 7. Thanks so much for joining us here on ABC 7. I'm Jeff Harris.
And I'm Megan Miller. Today, 14 schools needed to bus in bottled water for staff and students. But what's behind the shutoff? ABC 7's Ryan Arbogast gets you more on what caused this and when your water pressure will return to normal.
Collier County Public Schools says this water outage was so serious they needed to bring in bottled water for 14 schools today. Public Utilities says they're working around the clock to fix the problem, and this North Naples treatment facility is the reason why. Just a trickle or even a dry faucet. That's how thousands of Collier County residents learned that the county had a water issue late Sunday afternoon.
I pulled in and checked the water, and my water was just, the pressure was low.
That Naples Park resident is one of many to see the problems firsthand. Collier County Public Utilities says this map is currently under a boil water notice, including all of North Naples, Mercado, Naples Park, Pelican Bay, Pine Ridge, and Immokalee Road until you hit the fairgrounds.
When I heard that, I was like, wow, that is pretty big.
The county tells us that this building was the issue. Public Utilities says that a surge valve malfunctioned at the Carrica Road treatment plant along Goodlet Frank. That caused water pressure to drop.
Barely coming out, but, you know, there was still water. I mean, I could still wash my hands and probably, you know, bad water, but hey, I still had water, right?
This all comes 3 weeks after water rates went up, charging you about $100 and change this year more than last. Public Utilities told us those increases were to repair equipment.
We just had a water bill increase starting the first of the year, saying that they needed to repair some of the water pipes and so forth. So, hello, I guess it's due now, right?
Public Utilities says they're working on tests right now to find out exactly what the problem is. They hope to have water back online by tomorrow. We'll make sure to let you know if and when that happens. I'm reporting local today in North Naples. Ryan Arbogast, ABC 7.
Tonight, ABC 7 is learning more about one of the victims of a deadly crash from over the weekend. 27-year-old Tanika Smith went by Coach T. She was part of the collision, the head-on collision on Immokalee Road, where her and another driver died. FHP says a driver of a pickup truck crossed over Immokalee Road last night and hit Smith head-on. We reached out to Smith's family, who said they're not ready to go on camera.
Former President Donald Trump praised Ron DeSantis hours after the Florida governor announced that he was suspending his presidential campaign. DeSantis ended his 2024 White House bid just before the New Hampshire primary. DeSantis then went on to endorse Trump.
I'd like to take time to congratulate Ron DeSantis and, of course, a really terrific person. He was very gracious and he endorsed me, so I appreciate it. I appreciate that, and I also look forward to working with Ron.
Now, DeSantis' departure from the race leaves former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley, who you see right here, as the only alternative to Trump in the GOP race. Voters go to the polls in New Hampshire on Tuesday.
An Immokalee family says someone tried to break into their home for a second time. Take a look at this video. You can see a man walking past the home in the pitch black. But this wasn't the first time we told you someone was caught peering into the home in October.
First thing I thought about was my kids, my wife, and I was like, man, I'm just so glad I was here when like this happened, and it just really, I just worried about them because what if I wasn't there? Yeah, and what if he would have gotten in? So, and it's just, it's stuff you really don't want to think about.
You might remember the family's child is so terrified by the experience, the young boy wrote up this warning. The father says he contacted the Collier County Sheriff's Office about the first incident.
If your commute involves driving along Surfside Boulevard and Veterans Parkway in Cape Coral, make sure to give yourself a little bit of extra time. Crews started repaving the roads today, and they will be there for over the next few days. There will be both daytime and overnight road closures, causing Surfside Boulevard to be down to 1 lane at times. The repairs are expected to be completed by Wednesday morning.
I have one side telling me to let you come home. I've got one side telling me to sentence you to 30 years.
Tears flowed in a Charlotte County courtroom today as months of tension and waiting came to an end. A judge sentenced James Gainvors to 15 years in prison for killing a man last summer over fireworks.
I don't think it's possible to put into words how truly sorry I am. The word sorry just isn't enough. But unfortunately, our language doesn't have any other word for it.
Gainvors and the victim, Matthew Hansen, had an ongoing dispute for years, but it ended on July 5th of last year when Gainvors shot the victim along Corinne Avenue. The defense initially tried to argue the stand your ground law, but we're going to get you more tonight. ABC 7's Alexia Charopoulos explains why it couldn't be applied.
Thanks, Jeff. Stand your ground law allows people to use deadly force when they deem it necessary to defend themselves against violent crimes. However, you have to prove you believed that you or another person was in danger of physical harm or death. But the law wasn't applied in this case.
You gotta use it. Use it. Use it. Come on. Come on.
The deadly shooting was caught on Gainvors' Ring doorbell camera. At first, he thought that video would be used in his favor. Gainvors claimed Hansen was armed with a knife and confronted him in his own front yard. Here's Gainvors explaining why he feared for his life and wanted to protect his family.
I didn't think he was going to stop. I didn't think he was going to stop, and I thought he was going to kill us, but I didn't want to shoot him. So I drew my weapon, hoping that he would stop.
However, after taking a look at the video, a judge ruled that Gainvors wasn't in any immediate danger. Therefore, the law didn't apply in this case. Local criminal defense attorney Lance Dunford explains what situations are covered under this law.
You have the right to meet force with force, so long as the activity that you're doing is lawful. Not only do you have the ability to defend yourself within your home, but anywhere that you're lawfully allowed to be.
In this case, a judge found Matthew Hansen wasn't using deadly force when he confronted Gainvors, which means Gainvors wasn't permitted to use deadly force in return. The defense has already filed a motion for a new trial. They have 30 days to appeal. I'm Alexia Charopoulos.
The overturning of Roe v. Wade has led to the chaos and confusion we're seeing play out across the country.
The White House rolled out new guidance related to abortion and reproductive rights today as the U.S. marked the 51st anniversary of the Supreme Court ruling in Roe v. Wade. Now, in 2022, the Supreme Court's Dobbs decision reversed it, leaving abortion decisions up to the states. The president reiterated his call for Congress to protect women through new legislation.
Congress must codify Roe v. Wade for all the states in America. Stop playing politics with a woman's lives and freedom. Let doctors do their job.
On Saturday, a local group called Women's March Fort Myers held a bigger than Roe rally in downtown Fort Myers. It was part of a nationwide women's march. Their goal is to create a constitutional amendment in the state that would protect abortion access.
Fort Myers Beach Town Council approved an over $2 million contract to replace sand that was lost during Hurricane Ian. The Florida Department of Environmental Protection is funding the entire cost of this project. EarthTech Enterprises accepted the contract of more than $2.5 million.
Repairs are underway at the Sanibel Lighthouse. Take a look. We've got this photo showing some of the work going on today. The temporary wooden leg helped keep the lighthouse standing for more than a year since Hurricane Ian. Crews removed that wooden leg today in preparation for the replacement. Officials say the new metal leg should be installed by Wednesday at the latest. Really exciting. A Lee County woman woke up with a million reasons to celebrate. The Florida Lottery announced one woman won the $1 million a year off a scratch-off. The prize was claimed at the lottery's Fort Myers office and was bought at a 7-Eleven off Three Oaks Parkway. She decided to take the lump sum, which came out to $640,000.
Phones have big, beautiful screens on them now.
But the features you love could limit your screen time. Next at 7, how to make your battery life last longer.
And the Stanley Cup craze knows no end. What would you do for a cup like this one? The criminal answer, next at 7.
In your most accurate forecast, we are going to have a warm-up despite the clouds that are out there. That breeze is going to turn around to the south, but it's also going to start dragging this front our way. And another chance for rain. Your most accurate forecast is next on ABC 7 News at 7.
Phones have big, beautiful screens on them now, right?
But those eye-catching features can also drain your battery. With cell phones such a big part of our everyday lives, it might feel like you're tethered to your phone charger.
In tonight's cover story, I get you more on ways to keep your phone running and fully charged. Losing power on your phone is always a worry, but Consumer Reports has some tips on how to make sure your phone battery lasts longer on a single charge. First, consider your phone's display.
Phones have big, beautiful screens on them now, right? Full color screens. And those screens command an awful lot of power. You can go into the settings and lower the brightness on the phone.
You can also adjust the amount of time your phone stays on before it goes into sleep mode.
So you can go into the settings and adjust it so that your phone goes to sleep after 30 seconds rather than waiting a minute or a minute and a half.
Another way to save power is to turn off some of the background activity that happens on your phone, like your apps.
Social media apps like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, those will continually refresh throughout the day. But most people don't need that information to be updated every half hour, every hour in the course of their day. So you can actually go into the settings and adjust them so that those notifications or those updates are not happening on that continual basis.
Switching to low power mode will help save battery power. Keep your phone protected from extreme heat or cold, which adds stress on the battery. And try to avoid waiting until you're almost out of power to charge your phone.
You want to keep them charged sort of between 20 and 80% for as long as you can. That's the ideal stretch to be in.
Experts say charging your phone overnight won't harm the battery.
That is not an issue. The phones these days are designed to recognize when they get to that 100% and to stop the charge there.
And if you think you need a new battery, replacing it is an option.
When you get to the point where you're starting to kind of worry about, is my battery going to make it through the course of a normal day? Go and take a look at the cost of the replacement for you.
Getting you more tonight, there's a pretty easy way to check how healthy your phone's battery is. Just go to settings, then battery, then tap battery health and charging. iPhones display information about your battery's capacity, peak performance, and whether your battery needs to be serviced. If you're an Android user, on some phones you can replace your own battery.
All right, check this out. A bull got loose on the Treasure Coast. It happened January 13th, but the Indian River County Sheriff's Office is now sharing the video. Took deputies and cowboys nearly 2 hours to contain the bull, but not before it began charging at anything in its path. The animal was eventually immobilized with tranquilizer darts before being brought back to its home.
A criminal love for Stanley Cups. Police in California say a woman stole over $2,500 worth of the water bottles. Look at all of those bottles in her trunk. Employees at a store saw her loading up a shopping cart with 65 Stanley Cups before taking off without paying. Police arrested a 23-year-old woman for grand theft and strongly advise against turning your crime to fulfill your hydration habits. You know, don't turn into a criminal because of that. She didn't get away with this one, though. The success of the Quencher, this giant cup, I think it's bigger than my head. It has helped Stanley grow from making $70 million to more than $750 million annually.
Now, the ABC 7 forecast. Your most accurate forecast.
You have a Stanley Cup.
I do. I got it for Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Just did this math, too, because I was curious. $2,500 is about 65 cups. That was the average price of about $38.50 per cup. I was just curious what the average was.
I think you and I are brothers, because I would have done that same thing if I weren't
I just wanted to see if like the math really was there, and I think that's true. I think cups go between $35 and like $60.
I think we're besties now, Jeff.
There we go.
I think so.
And I do like my Stanley. I know that other water bottles can also keep your water
But not as
cold.
good as that one.
And it's cute. I got it for Christmas.
My
I love it.
knockoff Yeti works just fine. I'm just saying. All right, we're going to add in some heat, so maybe you want your Stanley to keep your water cool because we're going to add in a little heat and humidity, so your glass will be sweating here if you have cold water in it. Dew points right now are in the 50s. They're going to rise into the 60s tomorrow, and believe it or not, we're going to have dew points right around 70, 71 by the time we get into the end of the week. Temperatures right now are in the upper 60s, by the way, and there's a lot of clouds out there, as you saw on tower camera as we take a look from Seagate Development Group at I-75 and Alico Road, and on the satellite you can see there's a mostly cloudy sky out there tonight. One of the reasons why tonight is going to be close to 10 degrees warmer compared to where we were this morning. The other thing is we're losing that northerly cooling component to the wind, so we're going to have more of a due easterly wind as we go through tonight and tomorrow. The wind overnight is going to stay at about 4 to 8 miles an hour, so not totally calm. And that's a good thing because otherwise we won't be talking about some areas of fog tomorrow morning, but I don't think that's going to be a huge issue. There's some rain out in the Gulf of Mexico and in north central Florida, up by Gainesville, a little bit south of Jacksonville. Lake City, if you've ever been there, getting a little bit of light rain right now. And that's going to stay up there. And in fact, as we go through the next few days, we're actually going to draw some of this rain towards us. And as that southerly wind pushes this rain off to the north-northeast, it's going to tap into some moisture in the Gulf of Mexico and create even more rain and drag it into our area on Wednesday. So tomorrow, it will have a breezy sprinkle out there as the wind comes in from the east at about 10 to 15 miles per hour. But it's going to be on Wednesday when we have a very weak warm front that'll begin the trend of a southerly wind and more heat and humidity. That's going to give us a little bit of a better chance, about 30%. But as you can see tonight, partly to mostly cloudy as we approach 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning, and those wind arrows still coming from the east. And there's a lot of wind arrows, so that tells us there is going to be a bit of a breeze. If there were no wind arrows out there, that would say, hey, you're going to have a calm wind tomorrow morning, perhaps some fog, but that's not going to be the case. By noon, it's still mostly cloudy. Notice how we're starting to get just a small little inkling of a southerly wind, and so showers that are developing over on the East Coast will ride that east-southeasterly breeze into our side of the state tomorrow. It's just about a 10% rain chance, and then we'll start to clear the sky as we get into Tuesday into Wednesday. But we're still going to keep a little bit of a breeze, so I don't think fog's going to be an issue on Wednesday morning either. We go from a 10% rain chance tomorrow to a 30% on Wednesday, and then back down to 5 and 10% chances until the next cold front gets here, and that's going to happen on Sunday. 20% rain chance, but look at those temperatures. We go from 83 for a high on Saturday to only 72 on Monday. That's your most accurate forecast from ABC 7.
And it's a big night only on ABC 7. After his heartbreaking departure at the end of Charity's season of The Bachelorette, you can watch charismatic tennis pro Joey Graziadei take a second shot at finding love. The new season of The Bachelor starts at 8 o'clock tonight, right here on ABC 7.
Thieves steal a $500 water system from new construction in Lehigh Acres. At 11, get more on how to keep this from happening to you. Plus this.
New video shows the moment 2 people were shot in Cape Coral. How you can help track down the shooter tonight at 11, only on ABC 7.
A dog born with 6 legs is now thriving after it was abandoned. Who gave this pup a second chance at life? That's coming up next at 7.
That. Also, we have a Mutts and Meow segment, an adoptable dog looking for a forever home from Gulf Coast Humane Society.
And that's always wild, right? The Shell Factory will be here as well for our creature feature, not only bringing in a feathered or furry friend as a surprise, but also talking about a big upcoming festival that they have at that fantastic park. So we're going to see you tomorrow, hopefully, on More in the Morning.
And right now it's time for your Bright Side block on your news at 7.
Every weeknight, we like to end our show with some good that's happening around the world.
The Southwest Florida Wine and Food Festival raised more than $2 million this weekend. You're looking at some video from past events. Looks like some delicious stuff there. The money raised will help fund an outpatient surgery center at Golisano Children's Hospital and support the nursing program at FSW. Golisano Children's Hospital, which was built 7 years ago, is already at capacity. The surgery center will free up space to treat critically ill patients.
It was a happy ending for a 6-legged dog that had been abandoned in a parking lot in the UK. Ariel was named after the Disney princess because her extra back legs resembled a mermaid's tail. but not anymore. She underwent surgery to remove the extra limbs. Ariel is now recovering with a foster family. She is already up, walking around, eating and drinking normally. That is really sweet.
It is. Good news for that pup. Glad to see that Ariel is doing a lot better.
Ariel, after the Disney princess.
Yeah.
Riccia, after the town in Italy that my great-grandparents are from, she had her checkup today. Went okay.
I've wondered where that name came from.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Now you know.
Well, that and other was Reese's. Hudson comes from nothing.
Reese's,
so
Rocco, Rami, Riccia. All ours.
All ours, yeah.
Love it. Hey, don't forget The Bachelor is on. You got to see Joey's season.
It's the first episode.
It's a big night. Place your bets. Who do you think is going to win at the end?